Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Deziel and today I'm going to show you how to do a pant skirt or a skirt pant. Now today I'm going to start with the skirt pant. That is a combination of the skirt and the pant. Some techniques are starting with the skirt block and add a crotch to it. Some others start with the pant block and do a little crotch modification so it's not too fit at this area. So this is the style I'm showing you today that I took from the last trend. Now for this pattern, I decided to use my block with seam allowance. And the first thing to do is to decide the length you want your skirt pant. It's usually at the cuff level, so a little bit down, a little bit up, depending on your style. And what you're going to do, you're going to measure from the bottom to remove the extra length on your pant. And then from that point, you're going to use your awl and just engrave this level on your block, so you will be able to fold your pattern at the right length so you don't waste too much paper. Don't forget to do it the same way with the same measurement for back and front. Now when your block is folded with the right length, we're going to start with the front, tracing the contour but only half of it. So from the hem at the grain line all around until the first notch of the dart at the waist and indicate the punch hole. The next thing we're going to do is trace from the pivot point all the way down to the hem at the grain line. Then you could also connect the waist notch to the pivot. Now for today's style, what I did is I add a pleat with a depth of 5 centimeters. That means I need to add twice this measurement for a total of 10 centimeters. So the first one 5 and then 10 centimeters. And you indicate these measurements from the grain line at 2 different places. Then take your ruler again and square a line at the pivot point, the original pivot point. Square a line on top. So when you do trace your pleat line, you don't go over that line. Then we could trace both of the pleat lines. Now before to do the second part of the pant, you could just elongate the hem line, square on one of these lines. Now you could take your block back and come and place the grain line on the third line or the second line of the pleat at the bottom. Then you're going to make sure or verify that your pivot is on the third line also at the pivot level, right here. At this point, you could trace the second half of your block, starting at the second side of the dart and go all around. Now you could trace the second side of your dart by connecting the pivot with the second side of the dart. Now for this pant, I decided to do a little modification to the crotch to make it more comfortable and a little looser at the hip area. So you're going to square from the grain line, touching the crotch point, and we're going to go out 1 centimeter and then square down 2 centimeters for the final crotch point level. Once you have your new point for the crotch, you're going to retrace the crotch point or this area of the crotch, keeping the same shape but stretching it a bit. Now what we're going to do is just to enlarge a little more the bottom of the pant, and the way to do it is to put your square on the bottom line and touch the hip level. So when you get to the strongest part of the hip area, you could just trace your line all the way down. Now to find out how much to add in the inseam, if we want to keep the pant balanced, you're going to measure what you add on the side seam and just report that measurement in the inseam. In this example, I find a measurement of 3.2 centimeter. Then when you have your measurement, you place your square the other way around, just like that. You're going to square your line up until maybe 1/3 of your line. Now at this point, you're going to pivot your ruler little by little and trace until you reach your final crotch point. The pattern for the front is almost finished. We're only missing the jog of the dart at the waist, and to do it, you're going to fold first the side of the dart on the side seam, and you're going to bring it over, exactly over the first side of the dart. When it's in the right position, take your tracing wheel and just go over the waist. Et voila, your front is now finished. Make sure you do your notch for both sides of the pleat. And of course, this pattern piece is going to be cut 2 times. Now we're ready to do the back, and it won't be long because we have nothing to develop. We're just going to do the leg modification to enlarge and also the crotch point modification, just like we did in the front. So to start, just trace all around your back, indicate the grain line, and of course the pivot to be able to retrace your dart. Now to do the modification for the width at the bottom of the back pant, we're going to do the same way we did on the front. So put your square at the bottom line and touch the strongest part of the hip level. Then you could trace from that area all the way down and also the bottom part, and make sure you write down your measurement because you're going to need it for the other side. So start right away by elongating your hemline by the measurement that you need or you got on the other side. And again here, before tracing my inseam line, I'm going to move my crotch point exactly the same way I did on the front. So trace a square line. When your square line is done, you could do your movement, so 1 centimeter out and 2 centimeter down. We're now ready to trace the inseam, and it's going to be a bit like the front, but a little more angle because it is the back. So you're going to do it pretty much the same way. Place your square at the measurement you find at the bottom and trace pretty much 2/3 of your line. Then you're going to pivot your ruler and trace little by little until you reach the final destination. The last thing you have left to do is to retrace your crotch, starting at the new crotch point. Try to keep pretty much the same shape, just stretch out. Now for the final piece, you're going to write down the amount to cut, so it's 2 times, just like your front, and also put your punch hole inside the dart, about 1 centimeter higher, both of the dart. Now since I use a block with seam allowance include, my pattern is finished. It will be up to you if you want to put a hem line or if you want to include it into the length that you already have. Just make sure you do the same thing on both pieces, back and front. And you just cut all around and you're ready to sew. That's it for today. I hope you enjoy. Make sure you watch my next video. We're doing another one. We're doing the skirt short or the skirt. Thanks for watching, and I see you next time.